Hi, my name is Leslie, and I am the founder of Be Like the Willow. And today I am meeting with Tracy, which is Emma's mom, and she is the head of Emma's Footprints. And we've been collaborating in the past um, little chunk of time here about how we can work together. And I've been learning her story, and I told her I kind of already knew a little bit about her story because I follow the podcast that she does, which has been extremely helpful for me and for a lot of other lost families out there. So I have a couple questions and answers that I'd like to go down through, and then we will also post links to her website, her social media, and the podcast for you to check out and learn more. So first off, thank you so much for meeting with us today. And I've loved spending time with you and getting to know you a little bit better. So I appreciate and value your time. And the first thing is, so tell us a little bit about Emma and Emma's Footprints, and we'll kind of go from there.
Such an honor to be here. Thanks, Leslie. I know we're gonna be texting a lot after this. We just became new best friends. So Emma, it's my second child, and we lost her 8 months pregnant. I have three handsome boys at home, an 18, 14-year-old and 12-year-old. 17 years ago, almost 17 years ago when Emma died, yeah, there were not a lot of resources. My husband and I did not know how to navigate. I didn't even know I was grieving. I didn't know, like, how silly is that? I didn't know I was grieving. um, and so that kind of led us to start an organization in 2014 called Emma's Footprints.
And so you were established in 2014. Is that whenever you got your nonprofit started as well? Or did you have a time kind of between there where you had like a middle area where you were doing things and then you were like, maybe that's fine. We'll make it official.
Yep, we had a little middle area of we were raising money for the March of Dimes, when I felt kind of a tug on my heart from God that there was more to be done. So Googled how to start a nonprofit. We had to break up with the March of Dimes, which they saw coming because we created our own website, and they're like, yeah, we could tell that was coming, and we're really excited for you guys. And yeah, I filled out the 501(c)(3) paperwork all by myself. Thank goodness for my accounting degree in college at the University of Tampa. Sent it away, and I wish I could talk longer on this, but we got our official 501(c)(3) certificate. Has her 7th birthday stamped on it. So May 30th, 2014, we legit became official Emma's Footprints.
Talk about a God sign there.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep.
Jeez, that's amazing. That gives me goosebumps. So you started Emma's Footprints, and then you down the road you started this podcast. But what does Emma's Footprints? What services do you provide? How do you help?
So our mission statement is to provide financial resources, emotional support, and compassionate guidance to families that have experienced a pregnancy or infant loss. So that ranges from an early term loss, if you were 6 weeks pregnant, up into the baby being 12 months old. And no matter when your loss occurred, we can provide you our resources. So we pay for funerals, cremations, headstones, urns, counseling with our phenomenal LCSW, Pam Pressler, care packages, and we now provide couples retreats for couples.
So and you're the services for like funeral services and stuff, that's local, right? And so where are you located?
We are located in Erie, PA. And yes, we obviously serve our local community, but we have a lot of families contacting us from around the country. So maybe just contact us and see what we can do. I can't promise a lot of things, but just whenever a lost family calls, we do whatever we can, however we can, to help them and meet them where they are.
And then the couples retreats, where you were saying there was a couple different options for that.
Yes, so we've had 4 in right over the border in Clymer, New York, at a place called Peak and Peak Resort. We had one in Melbourne, Florida last year. We were going to do another one in Florida, but the location where we had the retreat was unavailable. And so Pennsylvania to Florida, we couldn't find a new location that fast. Maybe we'll have one in Ohio here soon.
I don't know. Maybe we will.
Depends.
When's the next one happening? When's the
Um,
next retreat happening?
Actually today is
Oh,
sign-in day. So yes, April 19th through the 21st. I will be heading up there tonight to welcome our we have 5 couples coming to this retreat. And that it's just a beautiful space to help them reconnect after loss and learn how to communicate, just because of the number of, relationships or divorces that happen after a loss happens. It turns your whole world upside down.
definitely a need for that. I can see how that would be very helpful on multiple different levels. And then what is your biggest goal this calendar year?
I love this question. So this doesn't happen every year, but last year God gave me a word for the last year, and it was clarity. And so all year long it was hashtag clarity. We were trying to get clarity left and right last year, and we got a lot of it. And so going into this year, the word he gave us was relationships. And so the organization will be 10 this May 30th. So Emma will be 17. The organization will be 10. And God really wants us to kind of get back to, we've grown so much over the last 10 years, and we've had so many people, between volunteers or families, just really focus on deepening our relationships, with my employees, with our volunteers, and just those circles. And so our goal is really to just solidify relationships, because we know there's more coming. We know we're going to be growing way more, but to kind of regroup, refocus, solidify, and strengthen those relationships, because grief is exhausting and this work is really heavy and hard. And I don't want to lose sight of, this isn't really just work and what we produce, right? These are families, and a lot of our families that work for me are lost families. And so just reminding us like why we're here, why we're doing this, what's really important. And because you can get caught up in that producing cycle, what's the next program, or what are our numbers, and raising money. So relationships is our big goal for this year.
And a lot of times families are in the thick of it too. So it's really a time where you remember, ironically, you remember every moment and then forget every moment because it happens, it just turns to mush. But yeah, how you can help in that moment with the utmost compassion. It's interesting to me because you didn't tell me those two things when we were talking, but the fact that I used the word clarity when I told you my story, and also the whole reason why we're doing this is to build relationships. So there's that. Always a plan there.
Yeah, it's surprising, but not surprising at the same time.
Yeah. And then let's see. If followers wanted to get to know the organization better, what are the best ways to learn more?
So obviously we have a social media presence. We have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, and our podcasts, like you mentioned, Confessions of a Grieving Mother are our podcasts, and you can go listen. You can go all the way back to the beginning and hear my story. I host with my executive director, Julie Swanson. You can hear her story about her son, Gus, who she lost at 4 months old. And so you can get to know a little bit about us. And we have our counselor on there frequently, Pam Pressler. So we have a lot of our team members on the podcast telling their own stories if you want to go a little deeper.
Check it out. We're going to have a link to that for sure. A little button you can click to take you right to that. I was telling Tracy that there's like a small, more like a giant rabbit hole that I went down listening to all of those things. And I wish that I could speak like like you said, Pam, right?
Yes, our counselor, Pam.
She speaks, she's just
You
beautiful
should
words
just
come out
melt.
of her mouth.
You just like melt. Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Can I just download you in my brain, Pam? That's
yeah. But it's an amazing podcast. It's a great listen, and there's different moms that come on and share their stories, and that part has been extremely healing, I know, for me, because it can be a very isolating process. And when you listen to somebody else that has also gone through it, and just little pieces of their story that you get each time, it validates your emotions almost. which is incredibly healing in my opinion. So, uh,
Yeah,
and
it really
then
is.
do you have a newsletter? Like do you send out a newsletter, or how can people get updates without social media?
Do we have a newsletter? I don't think we have a frequent newsletter. You'd be
Mm.
surprised at how much that takes to put on the back end.
Oh, no,
Um,
I do know
yeah,
exactly.
I'm like, do I go sit with this family, and have coffee with them after they lost their baby, or do we create a newsletter? So,
Your
yeah, I
priorities
guess
are in there. It's in check.
it is. Yeah. It's really hard to juggle and balance. It's an animal, out
And
there on social media.
you're really present on social media too. So that really is the best way to get the most up to date
Yes.
stuff too.
Yes.
Because I follow and I get notifications like crazy. So you guys are you're very present on social media.
Yeah.
So that's probably the
And
best
our
way.
website has a lot of information if you want to go there too. emmasfootprints.com.
Then I think what is there maybe one other like-minded organization that you follow that has made a substantial impact on your mission and your heart? We'll end with that one, unless you have anything else to add after.
There's another local organization here in Erie, Pennsylvania called Grady's Decision, and they help families that if their baby is in the NICU, they help provide food, gas cards, housing. They're in Erie, Pittsburgh, and Du Bois, Pennsylvania, and I like to call them our sister organization. It's a couple from here that they were pregnant with twins, and their son Grady spent, I forget how many days in the NICU, like 90 some, or
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm sorry, the daughter Gianna spent like 90 some days in the NICU, and she survived, but Grady passed after a couple days. So they had a NICU experience, they had a loss experience, the twin thing. So Grady's Decision is their organization, and they're our sister organization to where if they're helping a family and the baby passes in the NICU, they call and refer to us, and then we pay for things and handle our mission. So it's really great to kind of encompass, pregnancy is not like it is in the movies, and it's not textbook, and things happen and they are scary and they're crazy. So to have that organization here in Erie, Pennsylvania, and that we can love on families, whether there's a preemie in the NICU and the baby survives, or if unfortunately they pass, we can help collaborate with them. So we, Ryan is the founder, and he has kind of been a little bit ahead of me on my Emma's journey, and just their impact, that they've made an impact on my heart and in this community, and you should check them out.
Yeah, I'd love to put a little button for them too with and lead people over to there. I think it's the stories that what gets me. Everybody has their own story, and it doesn't matter how similar the path is. That brings you comfort because you're on a similar path, but everybody has their own story and their own experience, and it can feel very lonely. And I think one of the things with meeting you, and like, it just makes you feel like if the scariest day of your life would happen over again, like, you have this whole community of people that are like,
Yeah.
what do you need? We've
Right.
we've done we've been there, and we know that we've not been in your exact shoes. So what when you're ready for help, I'm here.
Yeah.
So I definitely will be. I wrote them down. Um, but we will put a little link in here to connect the Be Like the Willow followers over into that community as well. And I, again, just want to thank you for getting to share Emma with me. And I love kind of even what we've talked about and the potential of things that we can work together on, even though we're in different states. And it's truly inspiring to see you going out there and doing great things. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you for, letting me say Willow's name. That's important. That's important for me too. So appreciate that.
Willow has an awesome mama. Thanks for what you do and being in this space and fighting out there for, lost families to come. and current lost families that need the community. So thanks for being a warrior.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no other, I mean, well, there is another way that I would have wanted it, but with the outcome that that happened, there's no other way that I would want it. So, all right, I'm gonna end this and we will get this posted and just continue to go out there and do great things.